and welcome to the American Red Cross Show. My name is Jessica Torrin. I'm the Executive Director of the Paducah Area Chapter of the American Red Cross. We cover McCracken, Ballard, and Livingston counties. My guest today is Miss Allison Hogancamp. She is our Area Volunteer and Community Program Specialist at the American Red Cross. Allison, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are very excited to have you here today. I know you're a fairly new position with the local chapter.
I am.
So can you tell us a little bit about what your role is?
Yeah, my role is to basically retain, recruit, and reward the volunteers that we have. I'm the volunteer coordinator as well as the community program specialist. So on the volunteer side, I like to get to know my volunteers on another level. I like to know them on a very personal level. I work a lot with the volunteer orientation, which we're going to start having every month, as well as volunteer meetings, which is a good time for all the volunteers to kind of get together, interact, meet each other. We have dinner. It's really wonderful. And then on the community outreach side, I work a lot in the school systems. So we've got several programs that we're looking at launching. There's programs that they've done in the past, and we got some new programs we want to do in the future. And then essentially I want to bring those volunteers in to help me in the school systems and with other school organizations or church programs or anything along those lines.
Wonderful. Yeah. Sounds like you get to stay very busy.
I do. You should see my calendar.
So speaking of all those activities and all those volunteers that you will be needing, who can volunteer for the American Red Cross?
As far as volunteer, we work with all ages, as young as preschool in these school programs, all the way up to those who are retired, our local veterans, all ages. And then as far as volunteering, we have volunteer packets. I think our youngest would be in high school, just because high school and college requires that a lot of the school organizations that they are in requires community service. So lots of people look at Red Cross and, you know, helping us with events and community programs and, you know, anything that may be going on to get their hours. So they do have a packet that they fill out. They work through an application and a background check, and, you know, all those things are good. So they can limit to 4 hours every Monday or once a month, whatever they may do, or if they want to work 40 hours a week, they can come right and do so as well.
We would love to have them 40 hours a week.
Yeah, that would be great.
Wonderful. That would be great for us.
Of course.
So in that time, what do volunteers typically do?
We've got a broad range of volunteers. To mention the community programs again, if they wanted to go out in the school systems with us, then they certainly could. We will train them and teach them the program so they could go and do. We also have volunteers who work in the office every day. We've got those who just enjoy talking on the phone, so they'll come in and they'll call people for us, so they'll answer the phone, do paperwork, filing, faxing, making copies. We keep the volunteer packets, you know, by the plenty, so they'll make those a lot for us. You know, the necessary kitchen work and, you know, kind of keeping things organized and inventoried. And then, of course, we've got the disaster side. Our disaster volunteers are very extreme cases sometimes. We've got those that do casework, those who, you know, and casework is where they help with house fires, which keeps us very, very busy. So they'll do a lot of casework. They also do disaster, so they can deploy locally or nationally. So actually, if I could ask you, kind of on the nationally deploy, I think we've had some volunteers that have deployed nationally with us.
We have had some that have deployed nationally, and the neat thing about that is you get to choose what you want to specialize in. So part of being a volunteer with the American Red Cross is, do you like client casework? Do you like working with the clients? Do you like giving them the assistance, being the one that actually goes out and answers the call at 2 in the morning? Yeah. Do you like to do damage assessment? Do you like to go out and see how much damage was done in the community and take notes and report back to what homes were damaged, how much water was in the area, that sort of a thing? Do you like bulk distribution? Do you like running a warehouse? We need people who are able to do that. During our flooding last year, we had people that were running our warehouse of all of our supplies. So that's always a need. Do you like working in a shelter? Do you like to do that sort of thing, like working with the clients, serving the meals, making sure the shelter is clean and safe for everybody? What do you like to do? Are you a nurse or an EMT? Do you like health services? We need people with those kinds of backgrounds as well. So there's a wide range of services that are available. Are you a truck driver? We need people who do logistics. They can drive the bottles of water around to where they need to go. So there are options for just about anybody in Red Cross who wants to volunteer. If you just want to help us locally, or if you want to go out nationally, we can do that either way. So our volunteers are actively involved in the community. Not only do they help with Red Cross, but they also help out with other organizations. We recently helped with the Empty Bowls project here in Paducah. We took a day and painted bowls, and several of our volunteers actually went down on the day of the event and helped serve food and worked the ticket booth. We are also involved in the Christmas parade every year. You usually see several of our volunteers. I think a few of our pets even got involved this year. So we like to be out and about supporting the community. We're usually in the Veterans Day parade as well. Another aspect of Red Cross is our armed forces services. So we always like to be active and out and about in the community, letting people know who we are, what we do, and how active our volunteers really can be in the community. So if you wanted to be a volunteer with us, what trainings do Red Cross offer for their volunteers?
We have a wide variety of trainings. Of course, a lot of our disasters are, you know, flood, ice storm, house fires. You know, it's a wide range. But alongside that, we also have CPR first aid. We have the first aid wilderness, which was a big hit. They did that, I think, in February. I think they said it was pretty cold out.
They love to go out in the wilderness and learn all kinds of first aid techniques. They spend a couple days actually out at the camp. They really enjoy that one.
That's a good time. We also do aquatics. We have disaster services overview training, which is going to be again in March. We do a training for those who want to teach disaster courses. We also have babysitter trainings, I believe as young as 11 years old, 11, 12 years old, can come do babysitter training. We've got the actual IRV training, which is to drive a vehicle that serves food in a case of a disaster. We don't have one scheduled for Paducah yet, but there is one coming up in Madisonville, which is kind of another Red Cross that we work with. And then we also do shelter operations. So there's several things to get involved with. Everybody has their own thing that they like and expertise, and just kind of a wide variety.
Most definitely. So if you want to drive one of those IRVs, those are our emergency response vehicles, the big ambulance-looking vehicles that you may have seen out and about during the flood. You can take IRV driving, and you also have to do defensive driving. So it's a couple of courses you can take to do that. Along with shelter operations, you can be a shelter manager or a shelter supervisor and take safe food handling and preparation courses as well. So really whatever track you want to take as a volunteer, you can do. We have had 2 recent volunteers who actually were able to deploy to New York following Hurricane Irene, and they were picked up by National Red Cross and were actually featured in a YouTube video. So we're going to take a look at that now, and you can see what Pat and Eddie Jordan, 2 of our local volunteers, got a chance to do in New York in September of this past year.
I'm with the American Red Cross. And what you see behind me is a truck full of materials that we're loading into a Red Cross warehouse here in Binghamton, New York. Later, these materials will be distributed throughout the South Central New York region and even into areas of Pennsylvania to families that have been affected by the flood. So here I am inside the warehouse where all those materials are coming in to be sorted so that they can be distributed through a bulk distribution program out to the families throughout South Central New York. Here we've got cases of comfort kits, of which we've distributed more than 7,000 kits so far. What's in one of these comfort kits? Essential toiletry items. Toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, tissues, shampoo and conditioner. Things that you would need to get through your day-to-day life. And if you look around me, you'll see all the other supplies that we've got that are being distributed. Many of the cots that have been used in the shelters. We've got coolers, shovels, rakes, and many other cleanup kit items. So what you're looking at now are many of our emergency response vehicles. And right behind me, one of them is getting loaded with some of the materials we showed you early. These are 2 of our volunteers, Pat and Kathy, who've been working all morning long, making sure that these IRVs are stocked and ready to get out into the community to make sure that the supplies get into the hands of the families that need them most. You saw Kathy and Pat loading up an emergency response vehicle with the materials that we are taking out to families who've been affected by the flooding. Well, here we are. We found Pat's husband, Eddie, who's out on one of these distribution sites out in the community here in Binghamton, to making sure that all the residents of the South Central New York region have the necessary supplies to clean up from this flooding. They've got things like these rakes, buckets, shovels, and water to stay hydrated. The crucial things that families need to get back on. If you want to help those families in need, click redcross.org, call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Red Cross to 90999. Thank you.
So I hope you all got a chance to take a look at Pat and Eddie Jordan. They are two of our fairly recent new volunteers. They recently moved here from New Jersey, and they are in the office with us 4 days a week. And they also went out and deployed to New York following Hurricane Irene. They actually went under the bulk distribution, so they were out driving the herbs that you saw and working in the logistics side of things. In addition to Pat and Eddie, we had another volunteer named Leon Cunningham who was able to deploy to Minot, North Dakota, where they flooded not long after we did. He spent just under 2 weeks there and actually stayed in a staff shelter. He stayed at a high school and spent several nights there in the high school and worked in the shelter that they were running in Minot, North Dakota. In addition to Leon, we actually had another volunteer named Cindy Walker who was able to deploy to the Outer Banks, North Carolina in a health services capacity. Along with Hurricane Irene, it started there and then made its way up to New York. She actually opened several shelters. She's an EMT and was out doing medical work there as well. So we are very, very proud of our national level volunteers able to deploy. During the flood 2011, we had several volunteers from all over the country, from Oregon, Florida, Georgia, who were able to come in and help us. So we're really thankful that we are able to pay back in a way and send our volunteers out across the country as well. So Allison, how do we recognize our volunteers, those that have gone out and maybe have deployed or have been really helpful here locally? What does the local Red Cross do for them?
As crazy as this sounds, volunteers love their volunteer pins. I have a stash of them, and then of course you can order them based on what the disaster may be, locally or nationally, whatever chapter they associated with, wherever part of the state they went. They fight over these pins, so it's a big hoot to see people come in and pins all up and down their Red Cross vests and everything. So it's a really something that they enjoy doing. It makes them want to participate and do more training and work in more disasters, because it's kind of a big thing to show off all the disasters that they worked in. I've also started working on sending birthday cards every month. I've been working on everybody, whoever has a birthday, I try to send them out a birthday card, just kind of thank you for everything you do, hope you're having a wonderful birthday, see you again in the future. We're also working on, of course I don't need to tell you all the secrets since we want to work on them, I don't want anybody to see this, but we're also working on a collage picture that we want to give out as some awards, maybe ordering some things from the Red Cross website, some certificates, appreciation, and then of course at our volunteer meetings is when we reward all those who are new volunteers, reward all those that have helped in a disaster, and then we give out all of these gifts. So.
Wonderful. So if you want to come volunteer at the Red Cross, we will give you gifts. That's a great thing to do. And we have done some t-shirts in the past and some cookouts and things like that. So that's one that we're always looking to grow, is our volunteer recognition program. Yeah. We're always looking to do that. Where do you typically go to recruit new volunteers? Oh gosh.
We have a lot of people that will call, again, from the school systems that wanting to help. We've worked with the senior citizens. We've gone to health fairs and worked with those who are, working to be, who are students in the health fairs that may be doing medical field, that want to be nurses on our staff. We can go to like those who, are the firefighters. It's a wide range, anywhere in the community. Go to churches, just make an announcement. If you just let them know what you're doing and how you're giving back to the community, everybody wants it to be locally. They want the chance to deploy nationally and help where they can, but if they know it's coming back to their community where they were born and raised or where they live now, it's always just a great feeling in their heart to be here. So health fairs and churches and school systems, and then you've got those people that call you too and just, hey, I heard about Red Cross, so how can I help? And so then by the time we talk, they're always eager to get an application. So.
Great, great. Sounds like you've got lots of good stuff that you are working on. Well, that is the first half of our show today. We will be coming back in just a few moments talking about March as Red Cross Month.
Someone throws a line out, someone holds and climbs, someone's there to catch them, see us shine, see them shining everywhere, every color, every kind, at the dawn.
Welcome back to the American Red Cross Show. My name is Jessica Torin. I'm the Executive Director of the Paducah Area Chapter of the American Red Cross, covering Ballard, McCracken, and Livingston counties. My guest today is Miss Allison Hogancamp. She is our new Area Volunteer and Community Program Specialist. Now we're talking about March as Red Cross Month. Now you all may be seeing this throughout the month of March or a little bit later, but March is Red Cross Month nationally. We have some big things in the works here. First would be some fundraisers that we have coming up. We are very excited about, and I'm going to let Allison walk you through some of our restaurant rebate nights that she's been coordinating for us.
Yeah, we're working on partnering with several of the restaurants here in Paducah for, some of them call them rebate nights, some of them call them fundraising events, wherever it may be. Our primary goal behind this is not only is it National Red Cross Month for us, or our biggest fundraising month, but it's also to bring awareness to the community. It's to let them know what we do on a daily basis and how we can give back to the community. So if you take a look at this little calendar right here, kind of showing on your screen, it kind of mentions Fazoli's is partnering with us during the whole month of March. Some of these require vouchers to bring in, and a lot of them just say, hey, if you mention you're supporting the Red Cross, then we're going to give a percentage of what you buy today in our restaurant back to the American Red Cross Paducah Area Chapter. So it's really a wonderful thing. But Fazoli's is the whole month of March. Buffalo Wild Wings is doing a couple days with us. They're open to close on the 12th of March as well as the 20th of March. Pizza Hut is working with us on the 13th, so they're open to close as well. A percentage will also come to us. Chick-fil-A is doing kind of an evening, so if you want to eat dinner at Chick-fil-A, that would be very beneficial. And then Backyard Burgers has a couple days with us as well, and they're doing the 19th and the 21st. Swirls and Sweet Cece's are both the new ice cream places in Paducah, so they're always wonderful. You can kind of consider it healthy if you get the fruit toppings and the low-fat yogurt, I guess. But we've got Swirls and Sweet Cece's, and then Buckets, also known as Nick's. Great place for appetizers. We got, UK ball games coming on. That's a great place to go. McAllister's, again, probably a little bit healthier, kind of your soups and sandwiches and salads and everything. They're wonderful. They're going to help us for several hours on the 26th, and then again on Swirls with the 27th. So we've got a lot of things planned during the month of March. So we're really excited and hope that you can go to all these restaurants and give back to your community.
One of the really neat things about this as we were setting this up is that we were calling and saying we're with the American Red Cross, and everybody wanted to help. Yeah. Everybody was very willing to support the American Red Cross. So we are very thankful to our community for showing their support to us during this month and all year long. And especially our local restaurants, many of those that were listed were also flood supporters for us, provided meals for our shelter, that kind of a thing. And we are very thankful to be able to extend these partnerships. So we want to encourage everybody to go out, support these local restaurants who are supporting your local nonprofits in the area. We are very appreciative of all that they have done for us. So what else have we been working on for the month of March?
Oh gosh, we have about 4 more restaurants that are going to be calling us back to do things. We've looked at doing other fundraisers like Zumba. We're working on a Heroes campaign that I'm going to let you probably better explain this. But March is just basically our biggest fundraising month. It kind of leads up to our next fundraiser, which is in September. But this is just a good time for you all to see what all we do, how to give back to the community, and just know that if you eat at these restaurants, it's coming back to Paducah. We're not going to send it to another chapter or whatever it may be. It's going to be here in Paducah. It's going to help reward those volunteers and help just give back and assist in a time of need or a disaster.
One of the big things that we're also working on for the month of March is our partnership with WPSD has picked up March as Red Cross Month. So every Wednesday in the month of March, if you check out the morning show and the 10 p.m. news, you'll be able to see a feature on Red Cross. So we are very excited about that partnership as well. They came out last night and filmed a CPR class. So if you're looking for that sneak peek information coming up every Wednesday in the month of March on WPSD, be sure and check us out. You'll learn more about our organization. We'll spotlight some of our volunteers. You'll also be able to learn more about blood services and see some of their volunteers volunteers across the region that they are very, very proud of as well. The Heroes campaign is a big deal for Red Cross across the country. For only $1,000, you can be a hero for the American Red Cross. That's the biggest fundraiser that they give. We're working on some special events, some special rewards for those people, but we would love to have more local people be able to be heroes for the American Red Cross. So we may be contacting some local businesses. You may be seeing us around looking for heroes for the American Red Cross. If you would like to be able to contact us, we do have some information that you'll be able to see on your screen. That gives our address, our phone number, and our Facebook page information as well. So please feel free to contact us if you would like to volunteer, if you'd like to be a hero, if you'd like to know how can I help. Hey, I'm pretty good at fundraising. I think I'd like to be a volunteer to help out on that aspect as well. We always need more volunteers to do that for us as well. So what about training coming up? We listed our information with the restaurant rebate nights coming up. What is the training schedule that is coming up?
Our biggest training is March 1st and 2nd, which is within like 2 days away, so it's kind of cutting it close. But we're doing a disaster training. That's for those who want to teach the classes, so that's not as beneficial unless if you've done several trainings before.
High-level volunteers that get to do that.
Yeah. We've got another orientation for all those who want to be new volunteers with us. That's going to happen on the 12th of March at 4 p.m. And then following the orientation will be a volunteer meeting, also on the 12th at 6 p.m. And again, that's kind of where we mentioned all the local volunteers will come out. We'll have dinner, meet and greet. All those who have become new volunteers will get their vests and their pins and their awards and stuff. But it's just a really great time to be together. And then on the 29th, which I believe is a Thursday, is Disaster Services Overview. So that's kind of all things disaster. If you are interested at all in doing that, you will get a brief overview of how to get into the other trainings, like to become an actual trainer for the other type of disasters, IRV training, all those next steps for deploying locally and nationally. And
that's one of the really neat things about Red Cross is that even our trainers are volunteers.
Yeah.
So those are volunteers who are coming to learn how to train other volunteers. We are a 97% volunteer workforce across the nation. So it's a really, really neat thing. If you take the IRV driving course, it will be a volunteer teaching you. If you take damage assessment course, it will be a volunteer who is teaching you how to do that. So you can be you can come in the office for 2 hours a month, or you can be a trainer traveling the country, training other people and deploying nationally. It really is a really neat program, really neat organization that you can grow with as much as you would like to grow with it.
I'll have to say I went to the CPR training on the 27th and a volunteer taught us everything. Like they had been doing it for years and years. They should have been in a paid position because they knew everything about CPR. So
that is exactly right. A lot of our CPR and first aid instructors are also volunteers as well. So it's something that we really, really want our volunteers to grow and to be able to truly feel as though they can own their piece of what they are doing and run with it. So we are very excited about it.
Wonderful. Can you mention a little bit more about Barbecue on the River? That's our next fundraising event.
Sure. A little farther away, but Barbecue on the River is a big one for us as well. It'll be coming up in September. I know we've been focusing on the month of March here, but that is the next big one coming up for us. We always are in need of volunteers to work that. We're always on the lookout for those sorts of people that like to pull a little barbecue for us. It's never too early to start that process as well, and that's where we need a lot of volunteers.
We need some truck drivers.
We need some truck drivers. We need some nice people to wave people into our booth. We need the whole thing going on there. So we need a lot of people to be able to do that. And that's one of the neat things too about our volunteers is that you can be in the office one day a week, or if you say I only want to be called when there is a major disaster, we can work with you whatever your schedule is. If you want to just do weekends, if you just want to do evenings, if you just want to do during the day, we can make that happen. Probably the one that people most think about with our volunteers is our disaster action team. We call them the DAT team, and they actually carry the phone with them for a week at a time. They go in pairs of 2, and they carry the phone with them. That is if there's a house fire at 2 a.m., they respond. So they're on call for a week at a time, day or evening, and they have that phone with them. It's one that is very satisfying for volunteers. They like to get that call. They like to go out and know that they were able to make a difference. They responded to that family at 2 in the morning for that house fire. They were able to help give them clothing, give them food, put them in the hotel for the night. That's a really, really neat thing to be a part of. Once people go once, they are hooked. They love being able to help people in their community in their time of need. Once we get through that, then we move into the client casework phase with our volunteers. We have volunteers who are able to do that, and they help people, what's the next phase? What's the next thing that you need? How else can we help you? What kind of financial assistance do you need? How long do you think you need to stay in the hotel? Where are you going to stay next? That sort of a thing. We are really, really fortunate that we have all volunteers who are able to work people through that process. We have mock trainings where we help people kind of get started and learn, okay, here's how you stock a van. Here's how you drive our vehicles safely. Here's what we would do in case of this emergency. Do we have an earthquake drill? Do we have tabletops? We're getting ready to work with the airport on their disaster drill. Be all volunteers out there working with the airport. So we are very, very excited about what our volunteers can do and how they can help us in our community partnerships going forward.
It's also a good thing when you were talking about how to stock a van and everything is how to make your own kit, whether it be at home or in a workplace or whatever it may be. So we've got, you can always feel free to contact us. So we've got a 21-day setup where it tells you, set so much water aside this day or so many packs of crackers or $1 or $2 or whatever it may be, but you can build your own kit at home or in the workplace, and then of course we sell those as well. So.
And that's a great other thing that our volunteers do is they can go out and they can walk groups, your church group, your civic group, through this process of how to be prepared, how to have your own kit, how to make a plan. They can work with your business. How can you be prepared if something were to happen and you want to maintain your business continuity of operations? We have all volunteers who are able to go out and provide those services. So it's something that we are very, very excited about. So maybe you don't want to respond at 2 a.m. Maybe you think that's not quite what I want to do, but I still want to help people be prepared for a disaster. You can go out and make presentations to school groups, to senior groups. You can walk people through that process. One of the neat things that we did was partner with the Senior Center and provided meals for the homebound seniors in our area for 3 days. We're able to give them long-term, we call them basically the meals ready to eat, basically the MREs. We were able to give those 9 meals to all of the homebound seniors in our area. So we need someone to go out and actively let people know about those programs and what we're doing.
Yeah.
So there's lots of volunteer opportunities that are available within the American Red Cross. If you think that there's something that we're not doing that we haven't mentioned today that you would be able to be a part of, hey, I've got this great idea. Also, service to the armed forces. We need volunteers who want to help us make those military connections. We always need more people to go out and work with our military and grow that program as well. So there's lots of opportunities available with the American Red Cross. Whatever you are interested in, please give us a call and let us know, and we will be more than happy to walk you through that and get you started. Allison would love to get you started on that.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you very much for joining us today. Again, my name is Jessica Torin. I'm Executive Director of the Paducah Area Chapter of the American Red Cross, covering Livingston, Ballard, and McCracken counties. You got to see most of what we're doing in the month of March. This is a very timely show today, but please remember your Red Cross throughout the year and attend any and all of these events that you are able to. I want to thank my guest today, Miss Allison Hogancamp, Area Volunteer and Community Program Specialist with the American Red Cross. You'll be seeing her out and about quite a bit in the community, and we do look forward to seeing you all throughout the year. Thank you very much for your continued support of your local American Red Cross, and thank you for watching our show.